Hi there, this is Martin Hoxie, and welcome to our latest alt community call. And I've changed my venue if you've tuned in for quite a few of these calls in the past. And I'm currently residing in Edinburgh University Student Union, so hopefully the noise isn't too bad. And I'm delighted today to be joined by Daniel Scott, alt award-winning. How are you, Daniel?
I'm good, thank you, Martin. How are you?
Not too bad. So it's usually start these calls with kind of, what's your background with, how did you first hear about the association? How have you been involved with alt?
When I first started my role at Barnsley College as a learning technologist, we had organisational membership, and I were immediately joined to the alt mailing list that's hosted by Gmail. So I was quite observant to conversations that was happening on there, and I used to ask questions on there myself. So I was quite passive at that point, and just kind of observing what was happening as such. And then I think it was about a couple of years later, I was aware of CMALT certified membership, and I was interested in participating in that. So I think ideally I could have done with doing that at the beginning of a learning technologist role, but a year later that was fine. I was more settled into what I was doing, and I just found it a really useful process to go through to reflect on what I was doing, why am I doing what I'm doing in my role and my organisation, in my context. And just knowing about what my specialist area is and kind of things like that. So it was very useful.
I suppose one of the advantages of not doing your CMOT straight away is you gain the experience and evidence that you can reflect on as part of that. What were your kind of special areas within CMOT that you used as evidence?
I can't quite remember now, actually, because it's been a while since I've looked at it, but I think it was more to do with online learning and activities, designing activities in online spaces. I think it might have been that, because I think at the time I was inspired by Gilly Salmon's 5-stage model, and I think that's one of the main things I've put down. I just like the idea of designing activities around that model, and then using bits of technology to construct these activities with. So yeah.
So obviously the other thing you've done recently is you're the alt learning technologist of the year. How is that? Has that changed? Life-changing event?
It has been, yeah. I'm still really overwhelmed about winning it, to be honest. But yeah, it has changed my life, like you say. I think more people are aware of what I'm doing and how I'm doing things and where I'm heading, kind of thing. Probably more than they did before, if they did knew. So yeah, it's just good to mention that I'm an award-winning person. It's good that I've won awards as a team before, but to actually win individual award for myself, it's just really overwhelming. So thank you again, everyone who voted, and for your nice comments and things on the day and night.
Well, how did you find the awards process? Is it something you would recommend to colleagues to go for this year or next year, as it will be?
I would, yes. I've already mentioned to my apprentices and past apprentices that I have. I said I would like to see them in the future. Submit some proposals for it. But I do encourage it. I mean, I've seen it for this award ceremony for the last few years. But to actually be a part of it, it's quite special actually. And I don't know, I kind of did it the off chance. I thought, it's the right time to submit this. I've just finished a master's in technology and learning. Completed other things as well. So I just thought, it's the right time, and I just turned 30 over summer. So I just thought let's just round it all up and go for this, award and just see what happens. And turns out I won it. So yes.
So you mentioned the work you've been doing with apprentices there, and that was something that in your award. Can you just give us a bit more background what you're doing is structured?
Right. So yeah, the apprenticeship that we run, but I'll just talk about the qualifications first. So these are level 3 and level 4 diplomas in digital learning design, and these were created about 2 years ago, well, approximately 2 years ago, um, because there's a skills shortage in the UK. My research was conducted by a Alaska curriculum, agency, um, and basically, yeah, skills shortage in UK. And there was no like particular career pathway in e-learning, so they were created for that reason to upskill, e-learning workforce, and then you had to actually build a career pathway because a bit like my role, and I'm sure it might be the same for other people's roles, you kind of like stumbled upon the learning technologist or e-learning designer, but now there's a career route. So the college, Barnsley College where I work, responded well to that because it fitted quite a few needs. There was field tag happening around the time, and there were more pressures to get online materials to high quality and standards. Because we're in a small department, it made sense to have more people, trained up in as a learning technology or e-learning designer. So it fitted quite a lot of needs. Obviously, teachers and educators are interested in creating e-learning materials, but it's the usual thing. It's those time constraints that we're against. So having apprentices and a free service within college enabled that to be a good service. So we employed level 3 and level 4 apprentices under a company called Elephant Learning Designs, a learning company. It is internal, but it can be external as well, and open to that. So my role is I'm a line manager with apprentices, so that includes like training them on developing their roles and responsibilities and knowledge and skills as an e-learning designer and learning technologist. And what I did with that at the beginning, I created a job description for level 3, which is more so around or focused on e-learning design. For level 4, I've got e-learning design into it, but more focus on as a learning technologist, so looking at the wider use of digital technology. So yeah, we offer as apprenticeship, so we're based learning a year. So it's run on a year and a day format. So yeah, we'll start with usually just a start of term up until end of term next year. In terms of training and support, can offer individual and group training. It can be what we used to do before when we had a few external apprentices as well. We would call it e-share days, where it would run a bit like a old special interest group, where the agenda was set by the apprentices and the external apprentices, what they wanted to know, and people would share good practice or how we like show things and just encourage their development. We also use
Sorry, I was just wondering, has working with apprentices changed your own approaches to digital learning design, or has working with kind of peers? It sounds like a very rich experience. Does it work both ways? Have you learned a lot yourself?
I have, yes, and a lot about work-based learning, and that is something that I do want to focus on a lot more. And obviously, that's come from working with apprentices, and I've got obviously got a lot of passion for education in general, furthering higher education and such, and obviously adult. But yeah, in terms of work-based learning, managing and developing apprentices, it's just giving you focus on where and how we can use digital technology a lot more effectively. Because I do think it's kind of not forgotten about, but it doesn't get mentioned a lot. So I kind of want to make that a bit of a focus. That could be a little niche of mine, if you like. So yeah, that's a focus, and it's just changed the way. It's not changed the way, but I'm trying to think of specific examples that it's kind of changed. But what it has actually, in terms of practice, I'm expected as an assessor, a practicing assessor, an internal verifier, to use digital technology where I can. And some of the things, for example, I use is initially I use Google Sites as a new portfolio. Well, I started off the year before. I got apprentices to create their own blogs and the kind of like the coursework around that as well, and some evidence around that. But for this year, past year, I created a central Google site which I own, and then the apprentices got all their names like down the left hand side, and within their names they've got all the units and all the criteria. So it's a bit like a grid really. So it's got the learning outcomes and all the criteria for units, and then there's another column for evidence. And what I expect our apprentices to do is submit a hyperlink or anything digital that they've done that meets the evidence. So I try and, because basically the job description, because again it's work-based learning, is the curriculum. So I wanted to, all the evidence should be derived from what they're doing practically on the job. So yeah, I got them to more ownership to submit everything they're doing on the job onto a Google site, and then I would just pick that up and assess and have those tasks there. Also use Microsoft OneDrive. So I put all my feedback for apprentices on there, and the learners obviously use OneDrive to store their documents and work processes and tasks and other various bits of evidence. So it's completely online. There's no paper involved, except some tasks within the office might have to be paper-based initially. But yeah, all the assessments online, which is good. And then I also use Yammer as well as a online community. Both level 3 and level 4s are on there, and we just share. Well, I share like links on there and resources to aid their development. And again, I encourage our apprentices to share like obviously links and things they come across, but also to share like images of their work. So it's a bit of peer development on there. Yeah. So those are some technologies that I've used based on what I've been kind of reflection on, thinking where can I use technology myself. I'm still constantly thinking about it, and that's what I learned Technology does as well. I constantly keep thinking about where I can make this process a lot better and enhance the learning experience.
So you mentioned that Barnsley have an in-house company. Is that where all the apprentices are doing their work placement, or are they other companies as well?
Currently, they're based at Barnsley College. We've had external apprentices before, and we've got one at the moment. Yeah, it kind of goes up and down, you would expect. But yeah, internal apprentices and external apprentices. Yeah.
So it's a mixture. So in terms of the the tasks that they're doing, then it can be quite broad then in terms of the projects that they're working on.
Yes, so some of the projects that they do, so I'll start with level 3s, for example. They're more focused on like creating e-learning packages, e-learning objects. So they work with tutors, creating bespoke content. So that initially would start with a conversation, either telephone, face-to-face, or email. Teacher would initially know what they want to put online, or in some cases they might not. And then the principal would conduct like a meeting, scope out what they're actually wanting, create a storyboard, and create an example. And then through all kind of digital learning life cycle process, and then testing it, and then actually more feedback with team, with others. And then yeah, implementing it, and then evaluation. So yeah, kind of all throughout cycle. Level 4s kind of do a similar thing, but again they focus on like learning technology. So they'll work with members of staff and using latest things, tools, online services, parts of Moodle and functions, and developing things further. And yes, they both do Moodle development, so making more visual, more usable, and just improving the whole user experience of it. So downloading resources, there's plenty of interactive materials on there, not just e-learning packages, but using and exploiting Moodle's potential basically for activities it's got. And we also do training with members of staff. So at level 3s they're expected to do like one-to-one training, and at level 4 they're expected to like do group training. So that could be with just a normal group of people, or a full department. Yeah, and all under my guidance and support.
So with the training, is there usually a particular focus? Is it usually Moodle, or is it just whatever the current demand is?
It's on a variety of things. Yeah, most of it can be around Moodle, but sometimes it could be about a new tool that teachers come across. Yeah, sort of the online tools, the usual thing. Could be Turnitin, that's a popular one. Other e-learning systems like Pro Monitor that we use, and Planet eStream. But what I've done for the last few years, I can like conduct a college survey asking what academic staff are using and doing with digital technology to identify any like gaps and like training needs, and basically what we're needing, to be honest, from us. So and from that survey, just identify a good training list, and that's what we've done for the last couple of years, and kind of what we're doing now. Really, we're putting a new list together, and then I work with the apprentices on putting that training program out, promoting it, advertising it, and getting staff to participate. So yeah, that could be across like I mentioned, online tool services and Moodle, Extreme. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you've used different tools to help the apprentices to gather their thoughts or gather evidence.
Mm.
Is that in the open, or are these closed spaces? Do you find there's benefits? How do you? Well, I'll let you answer the question first. Are they open or closed spaces you're using?
I would say the closed initially. Obviously, with the Google site, it's only me that can access that and the apprentices to get like a private link to it. So it's closed in that sense, but it's not an engaging environment because we're basically just uploading evidence. And same with OneDrive, that obviously documents evidence and feedback. Yammer, well, you could say it's a private network, but it's more open, obviously, to the apprentices. They've got more flexibility to do what they want on that online space. To share their work.
Do you see any trends with how they're using Yammer? Do they keep it very professional, or does it get more social as well?
It is professional because that's how I kind of inducted it. But I would I don't mind like humour and personality in there because that's always good. And yeah, sometimes come across like interesting links and other resources. So that's fun, yeah. But I've noticed a change in their approaches to digital technology in the workplace, and they do seem to be using Skype quite a lot for instant chat, sharing things. So it looks like I could be moving towards that very shortly and seeing what potential that's got in work-based learning. Yeah, so that seems to be happening at the moment. So it could be switching from Yammer and turning on to Skype.
It sounds like one of the huge benefits of the program is, the apprentices are getting that kind of professional experience, so they're understanding what how to present themselves, both physically one to one and virtually as well. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the in the right environment for learning all this professionalism basically, and especially for e-learning and learning technology. Yeah, we learn quite a lot from each other. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. So I'll just, if anyone wants to ask Daniel a question, if you just tag it #Alt+C, I'll try and get that in. But I just wondered, Daniel, if you had any examples of the types of things that the apprentices were developing.
Yes, I could just share my screen, and I've just populated a document with just some screenshots, and I can just like talk through those. Share. I can share some other bits and pieces as well. So these are some e-learning materials that the apprentices have been creating. So I'll just kind of skim through these. So it can vary from apprenticeship handbook, the usual like paperwork they've got to complete. So that's one that has been designed and it's been used. Employee rights and responsibilities, again relating to work-based learning. This was a very popular one, nutrition in sports. It's one of my favourite ones as well. I like the look and feel of that one. It's very colourful and it engages me straight away. It's got lots of activities in there as well. CSCS, green card training, construction, health and safety across college, introduction to the motor vehicle workshop,
Are there particular tools that they're using to create these?
Yes, Vue mainly use Adobe Captivate along with other creative suite like Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator. They've got full control and creative control of what they do. And like I always said to apprentices, we have got creative control, so it doesn't matter what the look and feel is, as long as it has structure and flow and people understand it. That's the main thing. But it's one of the things to try and encourage within them to come up with new ideas and what you might call like dynamic views of e-learning rather than like a linear view, which most of these tend to be. So it's something I'm kind of conscious about and looking into how we can take those from like a linear approach, to something a bit more different. And it's one of the challenges in this job, especially from apprentices, how can we take it from linear to something else.
It looks very visually appealing. There's kind of high production there. Are they sourcing those images themselves, or is there like stock images that you have access to, or at their workplace that they can use?
Yes, we've got membership subscription to e-learning brothers. So we've got like we've got vectors on there, images, some just stock images and videos and bits of materials, and that's what the apprentices use to create those. Then they put them into like things like Photoshop and manipulate them a little bit. Another thing I'll just show to everyone, this is that kind of, anyone that is delivering digital learning design plan that I've currently been using in this last 12 months. Because before, it was just a bit more of a course on the side, which was working for me, which is something that I reflect quite a lot on. I want to be, obviously, again, around the job description, because that is the curriculum. So anyway, so it's all holistic, so all units time with each other, and yeah, it's around the job role. So as you can see, it's like an assessment plan, it's like a project plan, whichever. Got prior tasks there, understanding some new things, because obviously at level 3 to be new to the teacher role and what learning technology is. So just some links there, and then I've tied it around basically in like project tasks. So I'll not kind of go through more, but it starts off with digital learning environment, knowing the job role, professional aspects, laws, legislation, communication. And then it starts with in the ADDIE model, if people are familiar with that. So analysing like a project, tasks around that, design, like storyboarding, then into development, putting it all together, and enhancing it, implementing it, evaluation. And then some jobs that's outside the actual job role, additional things like web production there, and using social media technologies. So that's level 3. I know I skimmed quite fast on that, but I'm happy to discuss it later on. And level 4 is pretty much the same. Just extending from the job role, so developing it further. Got reflective practice in there, it's new. And just going a little bit deeper, got audio and video in there. And similar sort of thing again, it goes through kind of an ADDIE model, but this is more, level 4 introduces more learning theory, like gamification, social learning, e-learning models and more accessibility. So if I just skim through that. And down at the bottom, additional tasks. Again, this is just a group training, and then just like an infographic on safe online use.
Is there somewhere people can read more about what Barnsley College is doing about apprenticeships?
So could you repeat that, please?
Somewhere people can read more about what Barnsley College is doing with apprenticeships?
There's more information about all that the units and an overview of the qualifications on the college website, but I do have some like blog posts because I do reflect on what apprentices do, what I do, so that's on my blog as well. I can share links on that, but it might be also worth looking at the design e-learn network that kind of like is a consortium for qualifications. There's some resources on there, and there's obviously with people that do movies qualifications as well. So yeah, but I'm happy to talk to me about further what the apprentices do, and again what my role is, and how I deliver it and assess it, and the whole process.
I think we're struggling a bit on bandwidth, Daniel. I wonder if you could just stop this screen sharing for a moment. I think that will help.
Sorry.
That's great. Thanks. So there's, we're always short on time on these calls. There's so much more I'd love to ask you. What kind of my final question now, and it's an opportunity also for me to plug the Alt Online Winter 100. The calls for proposals is open right now. I wondered if you were going to put anything in yourself for the online conference this year.
Yeah, I actually saw that, and I've still got it, to further look into, because I would like to actually. I'm just not sure what on yet, but yes, I'm very interested, and yeah, I'll get back to people soon about that. Definitely want to do it. Just not sure what yet. There's quite a few things.
As our focus is on showcasing the best of learning technology, it sounds like you've got plenty that you could share as part of that. But yeah, I appreciate it hard to pin something down. The call for proposals for the online winter conference is open until the 16th of November, and this is an event that we also ran last year, and it's a great opportunity to see what is going on. The stuff that like Daniel is doing, and it really is a celebration of the alt community, because submissions are only from alt members, but anyone can participate in the conference. So hopefully we'll see you there, Daniel.
Yeah.
Some of the bits and pieces you've been up to. I'm conscious of time, but Daniel, thanks again for talking us through some of your work.
I didn't show it on the screen share, but in terms of me using those digital technologies I mentioned in my work-based learning practices, this is just a case study on that. So I've got a website somewhere. I think it's called Rethinking Work-Based Learning Assessment or something.
What we can do is we'll share a reference to that in the video description, so that if you want to have a look at it, that they can find it quite easily. And there's so many other areas that we could have talked about, Daniel. I know you're also involved in alt in various committees, but we'll have to save that conversation for another day. And again, thank you for your time, and we'll share some of your contact details as well, the description, so people can find you on your blog and other places as well.
Yeah, I'll pass your details to all relevant ones.
That's great. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Martin. Bye, everyone.